Hello, everyone. Do we have French speakers only, or do we have English? French, 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 English. You've lost. Right. Welcome to the four of you. It's going to be a place that's going to be quite noisy. So I'll try to speak slowly, and hopefully everybody will be able to hear me. As it sounds at the moment, is that okay for you? And the three French persons, do you speak English? Is this too fast, or it's okay? It's okay for you as well, madam? I think it's okay. Right. So what's the plan for today? The plan for today is we're going to have a 45-minute session where I'm going to talk to you about Nocody. So Nocody is an academy and an agency. So we train and we develop solutions. So just a few words about who we are, and then I'll have a first presentation about empowering people in need. It's very much about the history and where we come from. And then we'll have a second part about Nocody. We'll have a few minutes question and answers at the end of each section, so feel free to ask me any questions you may have. Okay? So, as we said, Nocody is a young agency, a young company. We are actually 1 year old today, or a few weeks ago. So very, very young. We're based in Bordeaux. So for all the French, sorry, madam, are you French or English speaker, or doesn't matter? But based in France. Okay. So Bordeaux, west part of France, southwest part of France. And the company was set up by two persons. Nicolas, who's the co-founder. Nicolas is a visionary person. He's the one who had the idea about what we're doing today. He's also the technical person, the one who's got the gig gene in himself. I don't do that at all. I may actually do it when I get a bit more time, because it's actually not affordable, but reachable for everyone, and that's what is great. The other thing about Nicolas is never did any training, and that's great because when we started, there was no training. Nicolas started doing no-code 6 years ago as part of a non-profitable organization that both of us set up, and that's going to be the first part of my presentation. Myself, I like to introduce myself as a multi-entrepreneur. This is the third structure that I'm setting up. Social guru, that's more for the fun part of it. I was very much involved in the second group or company that we set up. It's not a company, it's an organization, non-profitable organization. And Business Angel, just because I'm lucky enough, I've got the first company that does pretty well and allowed me to invest in something that I like. So Nocody and empowering people in need. And to come to talk to Nocody, I'm going to start to talk to you about Debout. Debout is that non-profit organization that Nicolas and I set up 5 years ago. We do some. I was actually chatting with a Canadian lady. We do what we call in French insertion, and we were looking for the English word for that. And the best one we could come up with was rehabilitation. Not sure that's the right one, but that's what I'm going to use for the time being. And we're trying to rehabilitate people that are either homeless or that have been unemployed for a very, very long time. We do that through, we started doing it using non-professionals and volunteers, and we very, very quickly moved on to asking professional people to help us set up this organization. What we do is, through social workers, we assist those individuals. We welcome them into the association, and we're gonna steer them and help them towards a full-time job and sort out their housing issues if they've got some. So that's the two sides of the organization. And we do that by helping them with all the side problems that you may encounter, whether that is mobility, whether that is finance, health issues, administrative issues, especially in France. So we address all those problems, and then we take them through employment. So we're going to identify what they want to do, take them through placement, trainings, so that after 6 to 1 year, 2 years time, we can have them to start working and do what they wanted to do. And the housing is also something that we're going to help them with if they come from if they've been homeless. The challenge that we faced at that time was that taking them into classic work, classic job, was quite challenging. The reason for that is that they'd been so long away, or so much time away from work. Some of them never even work at all. That you've got to take them back to work gradually. And to help us with that, we thought we'd set up a farm. So close to Bordeaux, next to Libourne or Saint-Émilion, sometimes it talks more to people. We've set up a farm with two objectives. One of them was to create an environment which is easier for them to go back to work. It's appeasing. We're close to the Dordogne, which is a river. It's a green environment. It's actually something that is very very appeasing for them, very calming, soothing as well. But it's also a job that requires a lot of dexterity. It offers a variety of jobs, from putting your seed in the earth, seeing it grow, watering it, to collecting the veggies, to then going to your clients with the van, or going to the shop and selling the veggies. So it's something that opens up the array of competencies that you may need to have. And it's proved to be very attractive, not only to the people who wants to move on, but also to the people where we're doing our job. When you only do, when you accompany people through work, people that have problems that have been spotted many times on the marketplace, just being drunk and being stupid, and people, inhabitants, aren't too keen to have them to come and live next to them, as you would imagine. Never in my back garden. But when you start talking to them about these people gonna actually start growing veg, we're gonna sell them to your school. Those organic veggies will be available in hospitals, for people that are sick, for elderlies in nursing home as well. So it's just changed the visibility of the association, as well as its acceptance, and that's great. As you can see, within 3 years or 5 years, we've actually managed to get supported by lots of foundation from institutions, Europe, the French government, the department, and other people that are supporting us financially. But the goal very much is to become very quickly independent financially, and that's going to happen through our production of veg and fruits. So we think this year we've produced 10 tons of vegetables. We've got 2 acres, 2,000 square meters of greenhouses, and with hope and plan to be self-sufficient within another 2 years. We planted 300 trees, 200 of them are fruit trees, and those will come to fruition, or they'll start producing fruits in 2 years' time. So that's when we'll reach, we believe, the economic balance. Economic balance means that what we do can be replicated as well. Next year, we're going to look for 500,000 euros, 200 of which for investment, greenhouses, watering system, and 300,000 euros for the salaries of the accompanying team, the supporting team that we have. And that's for the salary for a 3-year period, while the veggies and the fruits start being sold. So we do no production, we pay the full salary with this money, then we'll get a bit more food or veggies, and then salaries intake will be less, of course, and this will balance eventually after 3 years. That's the association. So we're gonna reach out for 500,000 euros. I think next year's we'll come back to the summit and ask for money for all the investors that are around, because there are so many. But you're gonna tell me, okay, that's very nice, but where Nocody's come into, yeah? That's the little picture. So as I said, very soothing environment. Our greenhouses, we've got 4 of them. They're 50 meter long, 10 meter width. The team, we now accompanying 20 people. And the goal is to stay around 20 people for a team of 3 social workers, including our farmer, Maxime, which is on the left-hand side of the picture. So where does Nocody come from? When we started setting up the organization, we soon knew that we would have to process data. Data because we get funded through institutions, and those investors or institutions are asking for reporting. We give you money, but we want to see what it is spent on, what are the outputs of those investments. They want us to do reports, but most importantly, we've got a team of social workers, and they've got lots of work to do. And their work is not to fill in forms. Their work is not to capture data. Their work is to be by the people we accompany and help them to move on to the next stage. So we needed to have a solution that would just facilitate that work of data capturing and reporting. We started looking at solutions on the market. There's tons, not tons of them, there's quite a few of them. Remember, that was 5 years ago. Those solutions costed minimum 30,000 euros, plus training fees, plus any additional features, another few thousand. Lots of the features we didn't need to use. Very little flexibility. And then we started thinking, well, let's do the job ourselves. Nicolas, unfortunately, Nicolas is not around. He was with me yesterday. He's not here today. He's got some work to do at the stand. But Nicolas wanted to start working in coding. And as I said, self-taught person, he started looking into setting up tools by himself. And that's where we started investigating no-code and low-code options. What we've done in the space of 2 to 3 years, we've created 4 or 5 applications. We've got an application that allows our social workers to capture all the work they do, the impact it has. That's for the what you call the I've forgotten the word now. It's all about measuring your impact, social impact measurement. We've got an application for finance. We do lots of purchases for whatever we've set up. We also capture lots of, we need to issue invoices for the food or the veg that we sell. We had up to 16 flats. A flat in France is a 10-page contract, sign it. So it's a contract with the flat owners we rent from. And then we sub-rent those flats to the people we accompany. Re-signing the contract is what we call the état des lieux, which is a statement of the state of the house or the flat. You need to sign it when you enter, when you leave. It's managing the payment of the rent, managing the fees for electricity bills, etc., etc. Lots of work. Another one is RFPs, requests for proposals for money what you're looking for. We've got a person dedicated for that. And that person just got a list of all the requests for proposal that they're doing. We need to know the status of that. It's pretty, you can do that on an Excel spreadsheet, but then you've got your CRM at the back when you've got an action to do because you get money, but you've got action. You need to add a logo somewhere. You need to buy something. We measure that and we make sure that we do it. And you couldn't do that as well if you didn't have any of those applications. And that's where Nocody for us was a great help. What happened? So 5 years ago, we started working with AppSheet. AppSheet is the solution from, it's an Indian solution that was taken or purchased by Google. We started with that. Very quickly, we reached the limit of the application of the tool, and we decided to move on to something that was a bit more powerful, and that was Power App, the Microsoft solution. And then Power Apps, which is quite complicated if you want to train people, is still something, it's low code. The first two solutions are what we call low code. We finally moved on to Bubble and Xano, which are definitely no-code solutions, no-code tools. And that's what we're currently using to carry on developing our apps. I mentioned the farm app. That's something that is ongoing and that we will deploy, I think, early next year. What also came up from that work that we did with Nicola was that when showing our apps to the various association institutions we were working with, there was always a lot of interest into what we were doing. What are those applications? How were you able to manage that? You're an association. You've got no money. You've got basic skills. It was quite down regarding, but at the end, they were all pretty impressed with what we did. And that's where the idea of setting up an agency came from. But what also happened in parallel was that Nicola, who's not only the tool developer, we had someone to help him, but that was still not enough. We quickly identified that actually to do this work, you need to be on it continuously. Nicola was also a project manager. But also to find people with the skills is quite challenging. As you know, if you're developers yourself, it's highly skilled, it's 3, 4, 5 years of work, but also you paid very well because there's such a shortage of developers across the world that developers are usually the best paid person in a company. We couldn't afford that as an association, and that's where we thought, well, we're going to set up an agency in no-code. What about training people in no-code? And that's where I started. The idea built up together, and for the last year, we are a no-code agency and training center. What are the next steps for us? With regards to Deboo, we want to give a chance to the people we are accompanying. Not everyone is capable or willing to develop apps, to do websites. However, there's a few people that were companies that have interest in those kind of things. And we are willing to give it a try and see whether some of those people would be interested in learning no code. So that's going to be for next year. We'll let you, if you're interested, get in touch and follow up our website on the Boo. But hopefully we'll be able to train some people on no code. We've got the academy to do that, and that could be an interesting output for those guys. We still need to enhance the application for the Boo. There's so much we can do, so much we want to do. So that's going to be an ongoing work. We are actually rebuilding the application. We want to do one basic application and database for the entire activity of the association, and that's something we're working on. And we've got, just on the other side of the place here, we've got the rocking chair, La Chaise à Bascule, who's also presenting at the same time. And they've been doing the hackathon over the last weekend. They were managing a team of various no-code developers, and they put together an application for, I can't remember if it's the Red Cross or Médecins Sans Frontières, but there's definitely work to be done with the non-profitable organization, and we're very keen to work on that. Finally, this hackathon was to be managed by No Code for Good, which is an association that works on providing digital solutions for non-profit organizations. That's also some people that we will be working with and taking part into the job that they're planning to do. So still quite a lot to do on our side, but we're enjoying ourselves, and we like our work. So we'll carry on. We'll carry on. So that's the end of my first part. If you haven't visited us yet, we stand B22. Those are the two websites that you can check out. Contact details. But most importantly, you can with the sunshine, I don't know whether the QR code is going to work. But as I mentioned, we're based in Bordeaux. You fill in your contact details. We've got a box of red wine from where we come from. And we'll do a draw at 5 p.m. or probably before, because at 5 p.m. apparently there's going to be a closing taking place at Station F. So probably 4:45, and if you're the winner, we'll contact you, and you'll have to carry your little box with 3 bottles of red wine in there. Very nice red wine. We've got Saint-Emilion, we've got Saint-Estèphe, which is Médoc, and we've got Pessac-Léognan, which is a Grave. So I don't know if you're a connoisseur, but if you are, they're nice wines, as you'll know. If you're interested in our training session, just take the training interest on the form. We'll get in touch. And if you do your training in 2024, we'll offer you a VR experience, which is something we're working on as well. That's the end of the first part of the presentation. If you've got questions, English or French, I'm more than happy to answer your questions. Thank you. Yep. If I may ask just to introduce yourself, the first name and company, that would be great.
Hi, yeah, it's working. Hi, I'm Jess. I'm from Halston Group. I was just wondering, obviously you did this with little technical experience building it. Do you think other charities could easily pick this up, a no-code platform, and be able to build something quite similar?
I've been very lucky because the guy who did that is a self-taught person. He's an entrepreneur. He did some techie stuff while he was a student. So I'm sure you can start putting things together. You need a little bit of training. So what I would recommend is that people from, whether charities, institutions, wherever, do train yourself. I'm not trying to sell what we're doing on the no-code side, but just by doing a little bit of training, it opens up the possibilities. You've got solutions as well that are very useful. The prices aren't that expensive these days compared to what we were facing 5 years ago. So things can be done. There's little tools that can be put in place, which just going to take off such a big burden on your work. And this got to be investigated. You can even ask, no code for good, and you get an army of people that are going to code an application for you. There's various solutions. We're definitely looking at sharing what we've done. At some point, we need to package it properly, but we'll do it. We may give the solution. We're not sure how we were going to move along, but they are solutions, and they don't have to be costly. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Do we have any other questions?
Les difficultés que vous rencontrez en fait dans ce que vous faites?
So are we facing any difficulties in what we're doing? Thank you. Yes, of course. But I mean, the social work is the biggest challenge that we face, the human aspect. When you are facing a technical aspect, a technical challenge, then that's fine. You have a workshop, you think it through, you're going to find a solution. Humans are more complex. Humans are, you've got the sensibility, it's got a big effect on people, whether this is the team of workers with the people, with the person that can be a challenge for you, whether it is the team that is working with them. That is the problem. You have to have a very strong team to be able to cope with what you're facing on a daily basis. And that took a bit of time to build. But now we've got a team of social workers that are working together, that are great, and that are never an individual taking a decision. It's always a team taking a decision. Sometimes you've got to take someone that you've been willing to accompany and that you've been accompanying for a long time and take him out because he's got such a negative impact either on the work, the social, the workers or the team around supporting him. And you've got to make sometimes difficult decisions, but you've got to look at the group benefit, and but that is very much a challenge. That's nothing comparable to building applications or which happens. At the end of it, it is a great experience, and I would recommend it to anyone. Compared to setting up a company, that's, I'm not saying it's more fun, but it provides so much added value to yourself that it's difficult to get away from it then. Yes, please.
Bonjour, mais merci pour la présentation, c'était très intéressant. Vous avez parlé de la réinsertion sociale par l'apprentissage du no-code. Donc j'aimerais savoir, est-ce que vous avez prévu, une fois que ces personnes seront formées, est-ce que vous avez prévu de monter des projets pour eux, ou est-ce que vous comptez les accompagner dans l'insertion sociale dans des entreprises qui font du no-code?
So I'll recap the question. So I've mentioned earlier on that we are looking at helping people that are coming from the associations that need to be accompanied towards work, and that we're willing to offer them some training program on the no code. How we want to proceed then afterwards, and indeed that's a challenge. What you've got to understand is that we start training those individuals, those people, once we've managed to address most of the other peripheral or on the other side problems that they're facing, and usually it's quite a lot. As I mentioned, mobility, but mobility is an easy one. It can be health, psychological stability. It can be finances. So the way we work is we've got at least 4 months when the person arrives, where we address all those side problems before even started thinking about going back to work or training them or understanding what they want to do as a job. So, and that's key, and that's the main difference with a lot of other charitable organizations, is that we take time. We give ourselves time to help these people up to 2 years, as I said. And that's a key difference, and it's something that facilitates the possibility and the success rate of having them back to work. What we can do then is, hopefully, is just do as anyone else. You know, we all face challenges in our life. At some point, we lose our job. At some point, we've got family issues, and you know, everybody gets destabilized at some point in their life. It doesn't mean that you can't rebound, and those people just fell a little bit further down than you did. So once they back up to that level where they're happy to go back to work and things are fine with them, then you know, it's finding a job. It's we keep some of the people we've trained in the agency, but the goal is very much to help those people either to become self-employed or go and work in companies. There's lots of companies that, you know, are happy to are looking for no-code builders, no-code developers, and someone who's, you know, who had social issues, or who's older, who's fatter, or, you know, doesn't stop you from doing the job and being good at what you're doing. So there'll be options, and we'll make sure that that works. Right. I think we're gonna, we're gonna move on to the next presentation. It's much shorter. You'd be pleased to hear. So, Nocody, empowering people like you. So, I've got just a few slides about what we do on the Nocody Academy side. Nocody history. I don't know whether you've talked as much as I've done over the last 2 days. I've met lots of people, and we've been, my colleague Nicola did a presentation a few months ago about the no-code history and what started it up. And from the research he did, he was talking about 10 years. No-code is 10 years old. I've been talking about people here that do have stands that they're telling me, you know, I've been doing no-code for 16 years. We've been doing no-code for 20 years, 2004. But people did not know that what they were doing was actually called no-code. And no-code is a name that just came up 5 years ago. And so all the history about no-code needs to be rewritten, I think. But it's just something that is so much easier for people who want to put application, who wants to find solutions. And one person was telling me, you know, no-code is not that much about building app. We can build app now. That's very easy. No-code is about solving problems. It's about facilitating processes in companies. It's about finding solutions. And that's great. That's what's great about no-code. The no-code is history. So the goal of talking about that was if people had been coming here but didn't see the first part of it, you know the history, where it's come from. It comes from Debout, where we started putting solutions together. Working with us or studying with us, we've got 10 employees today at Nocody. Most of them are, or all of them are working both on the academy side as well as the development side. And that's what's great about what we do, is we've got the first training session that we put together was what we could call an experimental session, 3 months training. And we wanted to make good developers who had nothing to do with coding and getting them to be able to put solutions together. Dorian was here, texting away, not listening to what I'm saying. Is actually one of the first pupils that we had. And her background is nothing to do with any technical background at all. What she's interested is horses. Don't ask me why she's came to speak to us, but here she is. And today she's a developer, but she's already participating to training about the front end. So she's got a particular interest on the front aspect, so the UX, the design of the application, all that stuff. Database, not yet, although she's quite interested as well. And what's interesting is that you can and you have to be on both sides. And if you are developing, you can potentially train if you've got the appetite for it. If you are a trainer, you need to keep coding to be up to date with the latest technologies. No code is moving so fast. If you're only a trainer, in 2 years' time, you'll be obsolete. So that's what's great about what we do. We've got both aspects, and both the academy and the agency are working together. You get a lot of the training center tend to do that today. I'm not sure whether everyone is just moving from one side to the other as we do, but I'm pretty certain that's what's to be done. Of course, we are Calliope. So for the only non-French person, Calliope is an accreditation you need to get if you want to train people and benefit from financial aspects. So a lot of the trainees, French trainees in France, can have their trainee financed. And if you are Calliope. We're part of the SFPN. SFPN is the syndicate of French no-code professionals. They're the organizers, as you may know. Our values are based on sharing, but not only those humanitarian values, it's very much also about efficiency. We've got to be efficient. We're constantly looking at what we've got to do, got to work and have an effect. And it's also about simplicity, remaining simple in everything you do. Okay, I already talked about the academy and agency aspect of it. Last thing, as I said, we're based in Bordeaux. Currently, we do only face-to-face training. We think it's best. So when we do training, usually we do 3 to 4 days in the office or at the training center, 1 to 1.5, 2 days working from home. What's important is to be able to coach, to be with the people. We've got 2 or 3 hours of theory and then a lot of practice, best cases. And you've got to work as a group, as an individual, and you've got deliverable. And when you get stuck, of course, you're going to be requested to start thinking about it and find a solution by yourself. But if you get stuck, then no point being stuck for a week. We'll help you with it. However, there's been a lot of requests over the last couple of days about why don't you do it online? And I think we definitely have to look into that, and we will be looking into it. The other request we had was training in the English language. Everything we do is in French at the moment, but we need to look into it. We've been approached by Portuguese and Spanish. There's Polish. There's a lot of interest about no-code. We ought to provide a service as well in English if we can. Our 2024 training program. So we've got the boot camp, which is a 3-month program to take you from zero to a hero, as we like to say. And then we've got, and that will take you from, it's for people like me, for instance, who've got no real clue about putting an app together or doing anything with a computer, but that got interest for it. And then we've got 4 specific sessions. They're 2-week sessions usually, and they're based on the product one is about it's about the design, it's about UX, it's about website. It's using Webflow and Figma. We've got the web builder, which is building web app that uses, I think, a Bubble, and that's it, I think. We've got, I mean, if you want precise information, go to our stand. There'll be proper people who can, or ask Dorian to answer you. She knows more than I do. The last one, which is an interesting one, is the Microsoft Power Platform. I don't know if you're familiar with the Microsoft platform. It's if you're looking at getting into something, that's maybe it as well. It's the solution from all the big corporate company. They're all going to move towards that. It's the Power App, which allows you to build applications. It's the Power BI, which is all about the reporting. You've got various type of solutions that we will be training. There's 4 of them, I think. And it's very, very, it will be something very trendy in the next few years to come. And from a job perspective, that's also something that you've got to investigate. It's more challenging. It's more, you need more understanding. Starting with no code and then moving on to low code, and the Microsoft Power solution is something that may be the way to go as well. So, yes? Let me try that. Yes? Good question. You'll have to come back to Aston and we'll give you the answer. I don't have a clue, is the answer for the moment. So, Nocody empowering you. So we've been. So you saw the list of application and training session we're going to put together. The goal for us is to add another 2 next year. There's solution that you may have seen or may be familiar with. Time Tonic, Damas. You've got internationals one as well, such as TAP, XAR, which provide solution. They're looking for trainee, and we may be working with them. What we do is we also integrate the solution with a Webflow, for instance, and enhance the front side, the front end. So that's something, or Azure for all the security aspects of an applications that you've got to ensure. If we've got consultants around in the room, although we do most of our training ourselves, we're always happy to enhance them with experts when we don't have that expertise in-house. So if you're one of them, please feel free to come and talk to us. And the last one, if you're trainee, then again, that's the same blah blah as on the last page from the previous presentations. And here you go again. If you haven't got your QR code, please scan it again. Yeah? Thank you very much. I don't know whether you've got any questions about the training or the no-code aspect, but I'm happy to answer your questions. Yes, please.
On another conference, somebody told that it is not because you know Microsoft Word that you can be a writer. So he was very skeptical about going to boot camp, to learn no code. To learn no code if you don't have any background in development. What is your opinion about that?
I hear the fact that if you can't use Word, then you're not a writer. I'm not a writer myself. I can use Word and I can write text, and that's what I'm expecting to be. I'm not expecting to be a writer and write a book and sell it for 1,000 or so many books. What I'm expected to do is to write a good text with no mistake in it, in proper French, and my English as good as it can be. And that's what Word does. It gives you the opportunity to, not to become a writer, it gives you the opportunity to write. And to write and to communicate with your colleague through a letter or through a document. And that's what no-code does. No-code is not something that is to replace classical code. It's just to allow you to do things. We've met with some people from the Station F, from the incubator. They've got lots of ideas about building apps. What they don't want to do is they don't want to spend 10 or 15 or 20,000 euros with an agency for them to develop what they've got in their mind. They want to build themselves for next to nothing a proof of concept, and once it's done, then take it to investors, potentially, and demonstrate that what they've got in their mind is actually a good idea. So no-code is not here to replace classical code. No-code is here to work with classical developers, provide solutions, do things that would take them a long time to do through coding everything manually, and speed up the process, make everything faster and cheaper. And that's what it is. It's nothing to challenge them, it's just to help everyone be faster, better. I'm not sure whether that's a need, but that's what it helps everyone to do. Any other questions? Thank you very much. Yes?
So for you, there is no necessity to have a background in development to do a boot camp in no code and can work in this department after.
We take everyone. So someone who's got experience in. So for instance, at the moment we've got two gentlemen. One of them's has been doing no code for a little while on the front side. He's been good. He's been doing websites and stuff. He could have done just a back-end training for 2 weeks potentially, but he's interested in having the full scope of the training. And the training is not about being able to code or being able to build an application. It's about being able to go and talk to a client and capture their needs, capture the output requirements, and put it in words to start with, or mock-up. The mock-up is the basic front or the way an application looks like. There's lots. It's doing a little bit of risk management. It's doing a little bit of project management. So the boot camp is not about only coding or putting an app together. It's the full aspect of being able to work and put something together, but working also with understanding the wording that are being used by classic developers, so that when you start talking to them, you can actually communicate because you speak the same language. That's something we haven't been very good at to start with. So, for instance, Dorian was telling us that, I go to listen to speaker, and there's words I don't understand. So we haven't been good enough, but we're always in that approach of we need to keep improving what we do, and that's being open and listening to what people get to say, that you can do that. Thank you very much. Have a good day.